live.
You are live.
We're live.
Hey, everybody. We
Hey.
are talking today about the secret relationship formula.
We should probably introduce ourselves.
And we will in just a second.
Oh, I jumped the gun.
Jump the gun. And if you're joining us over on Instagram, you're going to see us looking over here most of the time, but I will be checking what is happening over here. So if you have questions or reflections, go ahead and drop that. I don't think this is actually live yet. Let me check. Haha. Okay. So we are live over here, though.
And now we're live here.
And now we're live here. Hi.
Hey.
Today we're talking about the secret relationship formula. And we are going to go live over here on Facebook and come back to you. If you are joining us live, please go ahead and drop a hashtag live if you're here. Hey, Terry, if you're here, drop us a live. Let us know because we love to know who's here with us. And if you are catching the replay, let us know that too. Just drop that below and let us know that you're here, that you saw it. Second, if you would like to have access to the show notes, please drop the word notes in the comments and we will get back to you and let you know how to get that. Hey, Bobby, good to see you. Hi.
Hey.
And today we're talking about the secret relationship formula, which, newsflash, is that there is no formula, but there is a great framework we use that helps have a great relationship that stays juicy and fresh. So I'm going to come over here, check out the comments on this side. All right, let's introduce ourselves. This is...
I'm Patrick.
And I'm Marie Elizabeth. And I coach folks around how to awaken in their relationships, how to have more pleasure, joy, fun, fulfillment in their relationships, and by extension in their lives. I work with relationships as really a mirror and a means through which you can become more authentically you, more self-expressed, and all that good stuff. Patrick, what's your deal?
And I'm here. I am just a purveyor of love and truth, and I hope that I can shed some light on how to have a good relationship.
Yeah, right on. So today's topic is going to be this secret relationship formula, as I said before, and I'm going to get rid of that. And so the first thing, as we started thinking about this topic, we thought about how so often there's this desire or this wish that, if there were just a formula, if I could just do X and have Y be the response, life would be so simple, right?
That's literally where I start almost everything. Go to the manual.
As an engineer.
Yeah, as engineers, there's a T-shirt, RTFM, which stands for read the friggin' manual.
That's it. Read the friggin' manual. And as an engineer, it can be super frustrating to discover that in a relationship, you got to kind of throw out the manual because what works one day perfectly may not work the next. And I'm curious, anybody who's watching, let us know, like, have you noticed this? Like you try something with your partner or with somebody you're dating and it works great. And then you're like, great, they like this.
Now I know how to do it.
Now I know how to do it. I'm going to do this all the time. And then the next time it fails terribly. Has that ever happened to you?
Yep. And the bad part is, like, you get angry and defensive. You feel aggrieved, like, why is this happening to me? I did it perfectly and it didn't work out.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And then you feel like, then would you say the next step in that sequence is to blame, kind of be like, well, my partner, it's kind of like, what's wrong with my partner?
Oh, totally. It's like, I did it perfectly and you are not responding right.
Right. Like you're not responding the way you should, right? To my perfect execution
of the thing that I did before.
Of the thing that I did before that worked. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wanted to kind of get on and talk about this. And kind of help you head this kind of thing off at the pass. Because the truth is, anytime you're trying to rely on a formula, you're not in the moment. Like you just have like basically abdicated the present moment. And relationships work so much better when you can be present with them. So instead of trying to figure out a formula or give you some, part of why we wanted to do this too is we're pushing back at this sort of like 3 simple hacks to make your relationship great forever. It's like, that shit is bullshit. Like what works today won't work tomorrow. Real talk, right?
Yeah.
And
there are no rollover attention minutes.
Can you say that again?
There are no rollover attention minutes. Just because it worked yesterday, you got to pay attention again right now.
Oh man, so annoying. But true, right? So who's with us? I mean, like, let us know in the comments. Have you noticed this? Is it like, do you puke in your mouth a little bit at the kind of like 3 fixes, this framework will fix your whole life. Anyway, so what we wanted to share was an algorithm that we came up with because
it's helpful.
It's helpful. And it's kind of fun to talk in the language of an algorithm, even though we don't really believe in such a thing in your relationships. So let's talk about, so we came up with this algorithm that we call A plus C equals P. All right, A plus C equals P. Now, let's talk about the A. The A in this formula or this algorithm stands for attention. Mm-hmm. And I'd love for you to say a word about attention.
So attention is, especially in dealing with a relationship, is it's like, it's not just looking or listening. It's like intense, not intense, but it's focus. It's it's like being, it's taking your, putting your phone down for a minute, listening to what your partner's saying. It is another example would be to just like, if you're doing something for your partner, actually don't just do it slapdash. It's like, take your time and like, oh, I'm gonna make Mia a cup of coffee. I will I look at the temperature, how much time, and I try to make it special. It's like it takes time and a little more effort and a little more just of like your mind, your mental and like emotional presence to be able to bring that attention all the way forward.
Nice, beautiful. So attention is really the key in relationships. It's what we most want from each other. And so that's why this non-formula starts with attention.
And one more, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
And then attention is also, it's on the surface, it seems like it should be easy. But if you've ever done sitting meditation and you try to focus on your breath for 10, 20, or however many minutes you sit there, it wanders. It actually takes more effort than one might think if you actually haven't spent time trying to cultivate it or use it. It's the mind wants to think about, did I leave the stove on, or what did I do yesterday, or what do I want to do tomorrow? And it's easy for the brain
or that dumb thing they said last night that still has me hot. Yeah.
It takes a little bit of effort to be able to have enough attention to spend, just on yourself and your relationship and on your partner.
Yes, beautiful. So the next piece of this formula that is not a formula is the C. So A plus C equals P. So C stands for curiosity. Now, why is curiosity so important in a relationship?
I think the main reason is because you can't hold curiosity and like resentment at the same time. It kind of puts you in a good mindset.
I love that. Can you unpack that a bit more? You can't hold resentment and curiosity at the same time.
It's just like there's such different channels that even if you're kind of in a grumpy mood, if I'm in a grumpy mood and if I can drop into like being curious about what's happening,
Mm.
some of that grumpiness starts to fade away. It just
Mm.
it and also it just it it also accentuates the attention. So if we are, if I want to do something for you, actually being curious about your, exactly what you want right now. Like I mean,
Mm.
like maybe I always make your tea the same way, but it might be nice to ask because maybe you want a different tea today, or maybe you don't
Mm.
want tea at all. Today it's too
Yeah.
hot. Actually, I don't. I want an iced tea instead of a hot tea.
Right.
There's all sorts of uh, information that you might gather
Mm.
just by asking a question.
Yeah, and just by being curious
Yeah.
instead of thinking you already know. Because the default, what happens so much in our relationships is we think we know, right? Like, oh, they always get such and such at that restaurant, or they always like this tea or coffee this way, or they're going to come home and they're going to sit on the couch in that exact way, and then they're going to turn on the TV to that exact show, whatever it is. Oh, if I say this, they're going to react like that. I hear that a lot in my practice where the partner is pre guessing how their partner is going to react to something they want to share. So they either don't share it, or they share it in such a way that, of course, that's what the partner does because they didn't give them any other option. So curiosity kind of allows room for your partner to show up differently. And maybe they do, maybe they don't, but at least by being curious, you're leaving space open to meet each other in present time more readily. Yeah. And so then the last piece of the equation here is the P piece. So A plus C equals P.
And the P stands for Patrick. So you just have to just be me, and then all of your relationship problems will fade away.
Exactly. Everything will work perfectly.
That's right.
So the P stands for presence. And so in thinking about what we wanted to talk about today, presence is really this core of this combination of attention and curiosity, both of which come together to have you be present, to bring presence into your relationship, which is what we really want from each other. We want each other's presence. We want each other's attention. And presence and attention go so much further toward having a relationship feel good than any other fake formula you could try to figure out. So I'd love for you to kind of unpack presence for you.
So when I think about presence, I think like a good example, especially for all of my nerdy friends out there, you know that moment in the first Matrix where Neo realizes he's the one, and the bullets are coming for him, and he just says no, and the bullets stop. He reaches out and plucks one out of the air, looks at it, then they all fall to the ground. That's the power of presence. There's just by putting your taking your curiosity and your attention, you literally can avert danger, especially in relationships. That metaphor moves carries over quite nicely. Like the things that might be dangerous or not dangerous, but contention points in your relationship, just become curiosities, and they're interesting as opposed to being things that like might make me angry or irritated. It's like, oh, let me look at this thing. Like, what's there? You know, oh, Marie Elizabeth seems irritated. What's happening? Like, oh, has she eaten? Like, or like, what's going on with me? Like, I might be in a bad mood. Why am I in a bad mood? That like that presence can it can go inward, it can go outward, it can go around the relationship also. So there's
Do you feel like I feel like, tell me if this lands with you. I feel like a lot of relationship spats could be averted with presence. Like if you're actually being present with one another, I feel like a lot of the little petty irritations that happen where we kind of get irritated about something or we clash over something, it's often because one or the other of us isn't really being present in the moment, and we're kind of defaulting to habit or not really feeling the situation and not really feeling each other. So what happens when you work with this idea that A plus C equals P of attention plus curiosity equals the capacity to have presence and show up with presence in your relationship, that's really what we're after. And that a lot of the places where we normally might clash don't crop up quite as much because we're paying attention. We can see, oh, my partner's cranky. Like maybe now's not the time to bring up this lifelong issue between us, right? Because they're already cranky. Or I'm cranky. Maybe I'm going to just take myself out and have a bite to eat. But like you can't remember to do that kind of stuff if you're not being present.
Yeah. Also, like it makes me think of those moments in a lot of rom-coms where person A and person B, they just keep missing each other. They're both interested, but they can't like get out of their own insecurities enough to be able to actually like see that the other person is interested in the other person. It's like there's like a lack of presence there because like it's not always to catch something negative. Sometimes there's like something very positive. I mean, something that somebody wants to offer you, like their heart or their love or a date. There's things that if you aren't present, you're missing out on.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. And you bring up a point that we haven't talked about yet, which is this idea of attention. When your attention is excessively focused inward, like that example you just talked about, where the person is like in their stuff or they're insecure, or they're kind of thinking about their own stuff, they're not noticing what's coming toward them. I feel like that happens a lot, where life is constantly showering us with opportunities for receptivity and love and growth, and we're just like over here in our shit and miss it. We miss the opportunity because we're not present. And because our attention is excessively turned inward. So when we talk about attention plus curiosity, by nature, these two together, yes, you can have attention on yourself and curiosity about yourself, but the idea is that you're also having attention on the other person and curiosity. Hey, Keel, how are you? You're having curiosity on the other person. And the combination of A plus C equals P, attention plus curiosity equaling presence, that by nature, we're talking about having some measure of your attention out on the other person. This is what presence is. If your presence is constantly inwardly focused, you're not going to be feeling what's going to work out here with the other person effectively. And that's when you're going to want to turn to a formula. Like, oh, last time, of course, my mind turns to sex, and it's like, oh, I do this and this and this, and my partner likes it, and it gets them off. Well, that worked one day. Another day, that sequence may not be what your partner is feeling. And so if you can cultivate attention and curiosity so that you're showing up to each other present, then you can feel in the moment what's desired. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So did that spark anything else for you?
Yeah, like it makes me think of moments where like sometimes we have arguments. And sometimes for you, the argument is over. And for me, I might be driving in the car and I'm still having the conversation in my head. And since I'm like lacking presence in that moment, I haven't even realized that the argument's over. Like I'm still suffering. I'm like coming up with like these interesting points about why I'm right. And then, I talk, like, you might send me a text or something or like call me or we're talking and you're just totally in a good mood. And I'm like, how is she in a good mood? We're having a fight.
We're beefing. We're still beefing. And I'm like, that left, I dropped that a couple hours ago.
And I'm so far out of the present moment. I haven't realized that is over.
Yeah.
So it takes sometimes, so if that happens to you, don't be discouraged. You can you can catch up eventually.
Well, and that because you have curiosity, because you have attention, and
right.
because the two of those together equal presence, you have gotten much quicker with, so the kind of thing that Patrick is describing used to happen a lot more earlier on in our relationship. And as we've been together and as we've cultivated a playfulness, even in our arguments and things like that, his turnaround is much quicker, and his ability to go, oh, I'm still back there. Like I'm still rehashing that thing. Like I can't actually hear what you're saying right now because I'm still back there. So he's gotten super self-responsible with communicating when he's not present, when he's not able to be present, and then taking the time he needs to become present. And maybe that time is a little time away from me. Maybe that time is a snack. Maybe that, whatever it is, but right?
Yeah.
You've gotten so much better at recognizing.
It used to be like days or weeks, and now it's usually like in the minutes, some number of minutes.
Yeah. And so we wanted to share. So that's basically what we wanted to share today. So I want to recap real quick. Today we've been talking about noticing how sometimes you do something that works really well with your partner one day. And so you think, oh, I've nailed it. Here's the formula. I'm going to do this again. And the next time you try it, it doesn't work at all. Why? Because there is no formula. You can't just try to input X into your relationship and expect Y to always happen. And so instead, we are proposing that there is no formula to be had. There is no secret formula. The secret formula of relationship is that there is no formula. However, we have come upon a framework that we think is helpful and that might help you orient more effectively than trying to find one thing that will always work. And this non-formula formula that we're proposing is A plus C equals P. And that stands for
attention
plus
curiosity
equals
presence.
And attention, that like we're talking about it, is really, and coupled with curiosity, it's being interested and curious about what's happening over there with your partner, what's happening in yourself. Attention means you actually have enough of yourself in present time that you can pay attention to what's going on. You might be able to feel, oh, right now my partner, wants me to come toward them strongly. Oh, right now my partner might want a little more space, so I'm just going to sit over here and wait to be invited. You can't feel that if you don't have attention or curiosity. And presence is the accumulation of the two, or the sum of the two, because it's really what we really want from each other in relationship. We really want to feel each other's presence. We want to feel the person interested, attentive, caring, curious, all of those things adding up to being able to be in present time together. That's the key.
That's the good stuff.
That's the good stuff. And this is a way for you to think about cultivating that more effectively in your relationship instead of trying to rely on a formula, which inevitably is going to fail. I'll just tell you that right now.
Yep. Tried a bunch of them. They don't work.
Yep. They don't work. So I'm Marie Elizabeth Molly.
And I'm Patrick Price.
And we're here sharing the discoveries and the fruits and the playfulness and the fun of our partnership in an endeavor to support you in having better relationships and having more playfulness and fun and connection. And that is it for today. I think we're complete.
I think that's it.
So this has been Relationship Alchemy Live. And remember, till next time, a great relationship starts with you.